It is the 14th century, and you've just been born a girl in a village in Tamil Nadu, Pandia Empire. For those of you not in the loop, that's present-day India. Your father is a farmer. Your mother collects firewood, sells herbs, and braids your hair on festival days like it's the only gift left she can afford to give. By the time you turn 5, you already have 3 younger siblings. Add that to your 3 older siblings, and your house is always a party. A rowdy one, too. Your village at large is ignored by your surrounding villages. Well, most of your village. The temple is never ignored. It's also the only thing anyone outside your village deems important. The Gopuram, or entrance tower, rises so high your mother believes it cuts the sky. But even the temple can't save the village from famine. The thing is, the harvest hasn't been good for 2 years. Drought has made your father borrow against next year's harvest. Now, he's always cranky. And his mood affects you, your siblings, and your mother. This makes festivals the only thing you look forward to now. One day when you're 4, you see some beautiful woman walking in a procession. They're wearing real gold and silk that catches torchlight like water. You even notice that priests bow their heads when they pass. Immediately, you grab your mother's sleeve and ask who they are. She sits you down and tells you that they're the Devadasi. She tells you that the Devadasis are married to the goddess Yelama as her eternal wives. So they're sacred in a way ordinary women are not. Your mother also tells you that Yelama controls the rain, and any family that sends their daughter to her will be blessed. You wonder what kind of blessing she gives. But you know it must be good since the Devadasi passing your front is wearing fine jewelry. It's also at the same moment an older woman behind your mother spits on the floor with a sour expression as she says, Devadasi, Devadachi, Bayako, Sarya, Gavachi. You know what it means. It means servant of God, wife of the whole town. You just don't know why it matters. You are 6, maybe 7 when the priests come to your house. Your parents aren't surprised to see them. This means they knew the priests were coming, which means a conversation happened without you in it. There are 3 priests. One of them tilts your chin upward. Another checks your eyes. Then your hands, your teeth, and posture. 10 minutes later, they tell your father that you passed. You expect him to say something, maybe explain what this means for you. But he says nothing. The only thing anyone tells you is, prepare for your dedication ceremony. You ask, what dedication ceremony? Days pass, and the day arrives. It's nothing like what you've ever seen. There is food, real food, more than your family has seen at one table in 2 years. There are musicians present, and the whole village comes. You wonder how your family could pay for it all. But you realize your worries were never needed, as one of your older brothers tells you the temple sponsored the entire ceremony. Before you can ask why, your mother is already dragging you into a closed room. In there, someone oils and braids your hair with marigolds, then also dress you in silk. This is the first silk you ever touched, much less wore. You keep stroking it as you cannot believe fabric can feel like this. Immediately after they're done dressing you, they take you to an altar. There, you see the head priest already waiting for you. You're surprised when he ties the tali around your neck. This is a yellow string a groom ties around a bride's neck during a wedding to symbolize marital union. You wonder why it's like a wedding. Well, that's because it is a wedding. Although nobody has told you yet, you remember the myth your mother told you. You know you are being married off to the goddess Yelama. After the wedding ceremony, you are walked to the temple gate. As you're taken into the temple, you look back. All you see is your mother's back as she and the rest of the family have already turned toward home. Immediately, when the gate closes, you're handed over to a senior Devadasi. She leads you to the women's quarters. There, you meet other Devadasis. Some are about your age. Some are even born to Devadasi mothers in the temple. The rest are older, young, middle-aged, and a few old women. Your lessons start the next day. You are taught Sadir, the classical temple dance. The footwork alone takes 2 years. The hand gestures, mudras, are a completely different language, so they take even longer. You are being taught to speak with your entire body in a language that has been refined for centuries. By the time you turn 10, you know you're good at it. Better than good. Something in your body understands the dance in a way the other girls don't. The senior Devadasis notice your talent and take it upon themselves to refine you. But their strictness is the type found in drill instructors. Beyond dance, you also learn scripture, Sanskrit, music, and literature. This is something you would have never had the opportunity to learn if you had stayed home. For a while, you let yourself think, perhaps this is better. After all, it's better than whatever you would have gotten if you had stayed home. The food is better, you sleep on a mat instead of bare earth. You also wear real clothes every day, unlike before when it used to be only for festivals. But you also notice how some things don't feel right. Like how the older Devadasi's eyes never match their smiles, and their conversations stop when you approach them in groups. Or how there is a room in the inner sanctum that girls your age cannot enter. And then there is the way they talk about puberty. Not to you, around you. Words like, when she flowers and when she is ready, echo around you. You also notice that the senior Devadasi who manages your training watches your body with an attention you know has nothing to do with your dancing. She doesn't explain why. Nobody does. You are 13 when you have your first flow of blood. You tell the head Devadasi the morning it happens. You're scared when you go to meet her with your blood-stained clothes. After all, she's the only maternal figure you have in this place. She tells you not to worry, that it's a thing of happiness, and a celebration will be held to mark it. She tells you to get ready for your Udi Tambavidu, or deflowering ceremony. You ask what that is. She tells you that it's a celebration where the goddess Yelama will meet you in human form. You almost can't believe it, that you of all people will be visited by the goddess. A week later, the ceremony is announced. There is a feast, there is music, and the entire village is invited. You see your family for the first time since the last festival. Of course, you watch them from a distance. They're normal people, so they are not allowed to speak to you. After the ceremony, you're taken back to the temple, where you're washed in turmeric and rose-infused water. You're oiled with sandalwood and dressed in the finest silk in the temple's wardrobe. Finally, you're taken to a room. Inside it, there are silk cushions, brass lamps, and incense so thick, the air feels like it has texture. You're told to wait patiently for the goddess. You wait solemnly. You want your first impression to be good. 10 minutes later, the door opens. You're expecting a beautiful woman with flawless skin and hair. Instead, you see an old man who's blind in one eye. You know him too. He owns the biggest farm in your village. The head Devadasi tells you that the goddess will meet you through his body. She also tells you that you should do whatever he tells you to do, as they're also the goddess's requests. You want to ask why the goddess couldn't pick someone else, someone not blind, young, and maybe female? But you say nothing. You're just 13 years old, so you believe whatever you're told. He tells you to kneel. You do. He tells you to close your eyes. You do. You wait for the goddess. She doesn't come. Instead, you hear someone leaving. You try to peek and see a palm come for you. It's a slap. You fall immediately. Before you can cry out, you're told to close your eyes and kneel again. You do so. This time it's not because you respect the goddess. It's because of fear. The next 2 hours are a mixture of pain and fear, the kind your body and mind have no category for yet. You try to console yourself by telling yourself this is the goddess's will, that this is sacred. It doesn't help. It is now you understand the true meaning of the saying, Devadasi Davichi Bayaku, Sarya Gavachi. It turns out you really are the wife of the entire town. When he's done, you lie on the silk cushions and don't move. Not because you can't, but because there is nowhere to go. This is the world you were born into. The next morning, a senior Devadasi replaces the flowers in your hair with fresh ones. She says, "You are a full Devadasi now." Then she hands you a sweet. You eat it. It tastes like nothing. Years pass as you turn 17. You're now the best dancer in the temple. You're also the most sought after for nightly duties. The temple hasn't really been doing well for years. The unrest in the kingdom has a part to play. Due to this, the courts no longer send funding to the temples. So the temple has to fend for itself. And there's no better product than you. Since your Udi Tambavadu, you've attended to dozens of men. Older Devadasi tell you that life used to be better. That in the past, Devadasi were actually respected and could choose who they wanted to be with. But right now you have no choice. The Elema festival is coming up, and the priests want you to dance in it. They do not ask, they order. One of them even tells you that the goddess requested it. You nod solemnly, but in your mind, you're sneering. The goddess. Right. You have started to see it for what it is. A business. The festival arrives a month later. You are performing when you feel it. Not the dance. You always feel the dance. The crowd has gone a specific kind of quiet. The kind of quiet that means everyone in the courtyard has stopped their own thoughts and is only watching you. For some reason, the dance is the only thing in your mind now. You dance so much you could almost swear that you're flying. When you stop, you start hearing chants of your name from the crowd. That night, a man requests you specifically. He's a nobleman with court connections. He is educated and well-traveled. He has seen enough Devadasis to know the difference between trained and extraordinary, and he believes you are exceptional. What follows is unlike anything you have known in this temple. Gifts arrive, not festival trinkets, real gold. Then a small land grant that is arranged through the temple. For the first time in your life, you own something tangible. And that's not all that changes. Junior Devadasis now step aside when you walk through corridors. Priests who once looked past you make eye contact as they nod. Even the head Devadasi consults you about festival arrangements. Turns out your dance tripled the temple's patrons. And just like that, you become indispensable to the system, especially with the nobleman's visits becoming more consistent. You've been serving him for 8 months when you notice the signs. You're pregnant. You tell no one for 2 weeks. You already know it's coming. But knowing doesn't stop the fear. You keep dancing through the early months. You have to. The temple doesn't pause for pregnancies. But as you become swollen, the other Devadasis cover your shifts. Throughout your term, you wonder what will become of your baby. A girl will inherit your position. A boy, on the other hand, will become a Nattuvanar. These are the drummers and conductors that accompany the dance. They run the music. And if they perform exceptionally well, they can even become priests. You want a boy. At least you believe the system will be kinder to a male. But alas, it's a girl. You're 21 when she is born. You know her father. He just doesn't acknowledge her. This is not unusual. Patrons almost always have a family elsewhere. Meeting with Devadasis are just a separate account they maintain. Years pass. Your daughter is 5 now. The temple takes care of her education and upbringing. You, on the other hand, have spent the past 5 years understanding the system. Not the sacred version, the actual one. The patronage economy works like this. Skill determines your tier. Your tier determines your patron's rank. His rank determines your gifts. Your gifts determine your position in the temple hierarchy. And your position determines everything else. Your skill is exceptional, so you are at the top of your tier, which means your patrons are connected men, merchants, court officials. Some stay in the capital miles away. Below you, other Devadasis serve the temple priests. Some serve village farmers. Some serve anyone who pays. You watch them and understand with cold clarity that your talent only bought you a better cage, but not freedom. Never freedom. You make yourself indispensable to your noblemen, not just as a dancer, but as someone who listens, remembers, and never repeats. You cultivate senior priests with strategic donations from your land grant. You learn every leverage point the system contains. And you spend every unit of that leverage trying to protect your daughter. You can already feel the temple starting to notice her. You try to convince the head Devadasi that she's not fit to be a Devadasi, as she falls ill easily. When that doesn't work, you use her temperament. You even try to pay to send her to a distant relative for a full season. You try every angle available. But the system counters every angle without blinking. It has been running longer than you have been alive and has consumed smarter women than you. Women with more skill, land, patronage, and leverage. Still, you keep trying. But you do something else. You teach your daughter everything you know. You believe that if being a Devadasi is inevitable, it's better to be the best at it. Your daughter turns 11 when she experiences her first flow. You are heartbroken when you see it. You tell her not to tell anyone. Still, you know that you're just delaying the inevitable. So you go to the head Devadasi's chamber and lay out everything you have been calculating for years. You tell her you'll give up your land for your daughter. She laughs and asks, which land? The land that the temple can take any time? She tells you bluntly not to fool yourself, as you do not truly own anything, not even your gifts. She also tells you that the temple can demote you to the lowest tier, the tier that services the lowest caste. She explains to you that everything you are today is thanks to the temple, that everything you own, including your daughter, belongs to it too. She tells you that a Devadasi cannot stop her daughter from serving the goddess, that the goddess chose her the day she was born to you, as the blood in her veins was always the temple's. She says it's not cruelty, but continuation, and above all, it's the rule of the temple. Immediately, the room goes very quiet as you realize something then. You were never playing to win. You were playing a losing game, a game you lost since you were 6 and taken. Your daughter's dedication ceremony is held a month later. The whole village is invited again. There is food, there is music, and of course it's all sponsored by the temple. During the ceremony, you stand in the courtyard wearing gold and silk. You watch the head priest tie the tali around your daughter's neck. The same yellow string, the same words, the same ceremony that swallowed you years ago. She is dressed in silk. You made sure it was the finest in the temple wardrobe. If this was always going to happen, it was going to happen correctly. That was the only decision left that was yours to make. Your daughter's eyes find you in the crowd. She has your face. She has always had your face. She looks at you the way children look at their mothers when they need to be told everything is going to be fine. You make a nod that says, you are going to be all right. You know that is not true, but it's better than the truth. After the ceremony, she's led into the inner temple. You stand as she goes. You do not turn away. You will not be your mother who turned away on the day they took you. It is the only thing the system cannot take from you. So you hold her gaze and keep your face still as you watch her walk through the gate. The acceptance of your daughter into the system seems to be a signal for the temple to sideline you. They see your daughter as the perfect replacement for you. You are 32. In the system's mathematics, this is a bit beyond most patron tastes now. So the priests present younger girls to visiting patrons now. 12, 13, your daughter's peers. You watch this without emotion. You're retired from temple duties. Well, that's what they say. They tell you that the Pandian Empire is contracting, so royal patronage is shrieking across every temple economy in the region. They review your land grant, then they reduce it. Finally, they revoke it. You're soon sent out of the temple. No severance. There was never going to be severance. You were not an employee. You were a dedicated object. And objects are not compensated when they are set aside. The village receives you the way it receives shameful things, with complete familiarity. To survive, you do manual labor, field work. Sometimes you hear about your daughter dancing in the temple. You hear that the crowd goes quiet when she performs. People say she's exceptional. You smile. Of course she is. You trained her yourself. Then your smile turns bitter. In this system, excellence is not armor. It just guarantees you a higher price tag. Your time passes. Centuries pass. The Pandian Empire falls and is replaced. But the dance survives. It gets cleaned up and renamed Bharatanatyam, which literally means dance that harmoniously expresses emotion, melody, and rhythm. The dance is shown to the world as an ancient tradition. Nobody mentions where it came from. Nobody asks. But when a girl in Kartanaka fills out a school form and leaves the field that says father's name blank, her form will be rejected for the blank space. The truth is, the game is still ongoing. It's just played a different way now.